This is evaluation question number 1, and I'm talking about how, in what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of a real media product. At the beginning of the project, when we initially had to start our research, we used technologies such as YouTube, Hotmail, Twitter and Instagram. It was because we had to find and analyse short films so that we got ideas on how to follow a simple idea but execute it brilliantly and changing the world one step at a time. This was done through the use of YouTube, which helped pick out short films such as Post-it Love, Astro Battlegrounds, Love Sick, 3x3, Identity and many more films that within the class and group and individual were able to watch, analyse and take on board. The use of Hotmail was therefore communication-wise. Whenever we had made notes and it was different from another group member, we thought it was best to send it so that everyone had the same kind of notes to work with during planning stage. Lighting was a big problem for us, as during filming the lighting was not consistent. So it would be sunny at one moment and then it would be really dark. So that meant leaving that down to editing each scene so that it was consistent. So it didn't go from light to dark and it didn't affect continuity. Again, talking about consistency, the titles I feel generally were, after editing, consistent to the same as the film 3x3, as like it reflected the genre that we were trying to give off. So sort of like comedic but goofy, like the same as 3x3. We looked at a lot of films such as The Mask, and when we were watching the trailer, we used The Mask as an example of how we wanted our film to be, because it follows the same genre and the same sort of themes that we had consisted in our film. At first it was really hard work because we don't have the big technologies like Hollywood studios have, so we had to think on how to portray our story in a certain way that didn't look too complicated or too simple. So this meant that we had to be precise, especially given the essence of everyone being frozen. We had to make sure that everyone was still as possible and being as accurate as possible, especially in the final scene when he freezes himself, because we don't have the best editing equipment to do so, and this was a challenge, but I feel that we've slightly overcome it because of how we planned it. I feel that our short film stuck within time sequence of usual short films, so we didn't exceed it and over dramatize it, because then the story would have like lost its edge. By keeping it within just over 5 minutes was good for us, as like we had just enough time to show everything without it being rushed, but then also not extend it and lose the story at the same time, which was, as a group, what we also thought to develop. At the beginning of the planning stage, we made sure that our film had logic, causality, so that there was a cause to each section of the film. Every shot had a purpose, and if it didn't have a purpose, then we knew not to use it, and we made sure that every character had been developed enough so that there was a reason for them to be there. Even in the scenes where it's just the classroom scene and the class is acting up, we made sure that each person that was there had a part, because otherwise there wouldn't be no reason to have them in there, and then it wouldn't make sense for our film. As a group, we developed our short film to stay within a school environment and consist of an ordinary atmosphere, as like harmonious as possible, but add some sort of twist like that's unusual to school, which was James getting his powers, and that we wanted to reflect social realism as much as possible, so by keeping it as ordinary as possible, but then like just enough to change it at the same time, was what we were going for, like to make our film different from other films that we've watched, such as Post-it Love and Astro Battlegrounds. The problem we had with our music firsthand was the fact that at the beginning it came in really dramatic, so it gave our film a whole new genre. And so when watching it and getting feedback from the teachers, we thought that it would be best to change it so that it fit our genre, which is comedy, so that therefore like Sharia added like a little sort of Mr. Bean kind of music soundtrack underneath it, so it actually fit along with the scenes that were going on.